This woman, at just 17, already holds hundreds of billions in assets. She lives in a top-tier mansion and inherited a 7-star hotel. Every day, a dark-skinned boy toy sleeps beside her. Her husband is nothing more than a tool to manage the family business. After partying all night with her boy toy, she wakes up naturally. Only then does she realize she has an appointment today. Using all her strength, she slowly gets up. Behind her, the boy toy Frederick Bloom grabs Serena's hand, thinking about a morning round. But Serena pushes him away immediately. She dresses up carefully, the sound of her heels approaching step by step. Hearing her arrive, the jeweler instantly bows and flatters her, presenting the store's newest top-grade jewels. She puts on her gloves skillfully, ready to examine them. The apprentice beside them is completely entranced by Serena's breathtaking beauty. At this moment, Frederick Bloom arrived late. That dirt-colored shade immediately caught his attention. Just as Serena was roasting the pieces on display, she spotted something strange from the corner of her eye, and her face darkened. The apprentice was staring straight at Frederick Bloom, who sat right across from her. Serena said coldly, "Boss lady, I won't be choosing a necklace today. You may go back." Hearing that, the apprentice finally realized she had forgotten her job. Serena gave a strange smile. "Looks good? You don't seem to care about the jewels you're selling. Facing me, your longtime customer, you didn't even show basic focus." Serena walked to Frederick Bloom's side. She grabbed him and flung him toward the apprentice. "Take a good look." The apprentice froze in fear, then hurriedly knelt and apologized. Seeing this, the jeweler beside them quickly stepped in to smooth things over. "I'm sorry, Lady Serena. This is her first time here, so she doesn't know the rules yet. She offended you. Please forgive her rudeness. I brought the wrong set of jewels today and upset you." She shielded the apprentice's shoulders and excused herself. Frederick Bloom slowly stood up. The maid at the side was already used to scenes like this. "Are you all right?" Frederick Bloom replied in a flat tone. "It's not like this is the first time." And she did touch one of Serena's taboos. "But Serena is unusually sensitive today. Did I ask there's some special occasion?" Then he realized, it was the day that person returned. It was Thursday. They still had to dine together. Outside, thunder and heavy rain raged on, making Serena's mood even gloomier. At that moment, a man in formal attire stepped down from the carriage. This man was Serena's tool husband, Izar Lians. Even though the woman spent her days lying in bed, money still flowed into her account by the hundreds of millions. Her life was either buying clothes or browsing jewels. Her beauty was untouchable, and she openly kept a boy toy right under her husband's nose. In 4 years of marriage, they had only met a handful of times. Her husband's return today made Serena even more dispirited, because she had to dine with him at the appointed time. Every time this hour came, the servants would get extremely nervous, even more nervous than attending a meeting with clients. During the 4 years of marriage, every meal had ended badly, so compared to the past, tonight was already considered calm. Their marriage was arranged to protect the Serenity family. No matter how much they disliked each other, they still had to endure the time spent together. At that moment, Izar Lian spoke first. "There's a document that needs your signature. Come to the office after dinner." Serena was surprised. Signature. She knew very well that anything requiring her handwriting must be a major matter. She still spoke stubbornly. "Aren't you capable of handling everything? Figure it out yourself." Izar Lians didn't say another word. He put down his utensils and turned to leave the dining room. Serena was left alone with her thoughts. But since it involved the family, she still went to the office as requested, wanting to see what he was planning. When she saw the document, it was actually about retracting all support and authority from the 8 chairmen. Ever since her grandmother founded the hotel, those 8 chairmen had been major contributors. Their generosity and guidance were what helped the hotel stand firm. Izar Lians had absolutely no reason to remove their authority. Serena angrily threw the document onto the floor. "Do you think the air is just air? I don't want to ruin our relationship with the 8 families." Izar Lians folded his arms across his chest. "Really? Do you think they feel the same way? And do you think I'll sign it?" But Izar Lians didn't care about her rage at all, that he only looked at her with the gaze one uses for an idiot. The two of them refused to back down, the room filled with gunpowder tension. To her, he was merely a tool to manage the corporation. To him, she was nothing more than a useless face. Izar Lians, do you think the heir is nothing? I am the heir, yet you didn't even inform me. You just want me to sign a contract stripping the 8 families of their rights? Izar Lians let out an arrogant, domineering snort. Sign it, then get out. He walked up to her. You'd better sign it obediently. Serena let out a soft laugh. Who gave you the right to order me around? She picked up the document and tore it apart with a sharp riot. Oh dear, how terrible, don't you think so? At that moment, Serena's grandmother arrived, breaking the deadlock. Her name was Liansa, the founder of the Serenity Hotel. She walked in slowly, thinking, today was truly awful. Izar Lians, who always respected the grandmother, was about to bring up the document. Serena lifted her chin and shouted, Grandma, don't let him fool you. She held her hands to her chest. He just gave me an outrageous document and tried to force me to sign it. Did you know? He wants to strip the 8 families of their rights. That's the legacy you and mother built over years. All he cares about is the annual losses. He never looks at the long-term future. Liansa turned toward Izar Lians. Serena waited, expecting her grandmother to restrain him. Instead, she heard praise. Well done. This matter had to be resolved sooner or later. Her grandmother's reaction left Serena stunned. The grandmother took Izar Lians by the hand and slowly walked away. Behind them, Serena's face froze in disbelief. Praise him. How could that be? This was her grandmother, the one who always sided with her. But now everything had changed, ever since she forced her to marry Izar Lians. Serena refused to accept it. She thought her grandmother must have gone insane. She rushed into the room, shouting loudly. Frederick Bloom saw the heartbroken princess and stood up instantly, distressed. He ran toward Serena in large strides and pulled her into his arms. What happened? He could clearly feel Serena's body trembling. I wish that man would just die. Today Grandma felt like a completely different person, almost like a stranger. Whenever I see Izar Lians, I feel like my existence means nothing. Especially with the way he looks at me, telling me I'm just a useless face. That look of blame, I can't stand it. After being ignored by her grandmother for her stupidity, the heartbroken Serena fled into Frederick Bloom's arms, crying while kissing him. Serena hated that he belonged to the Grain family. He had ability, yes, but he was a dangerous, untrustworthy man. Sooner or later, he would show his true face. When the time came, he would definitely try to claim the Serenity Hotel for the Grain family. He would stop at nothing to eliminate anyone who stood in his way. Rather than fall into their hands, isn't destroying him myself more dignified? She collapsed onto the floor. The family she loved so deeply was about to disappear. At that moment, the grandmother told Izar Lians to handle the matter of the 8 families carefully. She had wanted to resolve this issue back when she was still in power, but Izar Lians already had a plan prepared. Knowing Serena's temperament well, the grandmother asked if he needed her help. Izar Lians replied casually, the signature is just procedure. I only wanted her to be aware of it. The grandmother apologized, asking Izar Lians to be understanding. Serena troubles him far more than business ever does. The grandmother lit a Zhonghua cigarette and began recalling the past. When war broke out in Boton, her husband was killed, leaving only her and her daughter Bella. At that time, she was frail and sickly, afraid she might pass away suddenly, leaving her young daughter helpless, and afraid her life's work would fall into the wrong hands. So from a young age, she began disciplining Bella strictly. After Bella inherited the hotel, she married, and at a young age gave birth to Namalas and Serena. Bella wanted her children to grow up happily and freely, doing what they liked. The business could wait until they were older. But reality was cruel. There was a carriage accident, and Serena became completely alone. She wasn't even an adult yet, had no training in business, and suddenly had to take over the entire family enterprise. It was almost impossible. Back then, Serena couldn't even draft a simple contract. And as the grandmother's illness worsened, many families began eyeing their power. Izar Lians appeared at just that moment, and that became the reason Serena resented her grandmother. Entrusting the hotel to you was the wisest choice. After speaking, she took out a document. I found something interesting at home. The man had been married to a rich woman for 4 years, Yet she openly kept a lover under his nose, partying with him day and night. When the attending doctor said, "You've been married 4 years. Wanting a child is normal. But your wife, Serena, cannot get pregnant right now. It would endanger both her life and the baby's. Playing is playing, fooling around is fooling around, but pregnancy isn't a joke." The usually cold corporate tyrant couldn't sit still. He forgot all etiquette and ran straight to find Frederick Bloom. The doctors nearby were stunned. Weren't they supposed to be a contract couple? Didn't they have no feelings at all? But in front of others he was Serena's husband. She absolutely couldn't end up pregnant with another man's child. Meanwhile, Serena was in her room sleeping with her boy toy Frederick Bloom. But with the attending doctors arriving, the one who shouldn't be seen had to step aside. Frederick Bloom went to the back garden, enjoying the scenery leisurely. The doctors said Serena's physical condition was worse than ever. She had only eaten a few grapes, had no appetite, and even told the maids to give the rest of her meals to the servants. She asked the maid beside her, "Where did Frederick Bloom go?" The servant replied thoughtfully, "Lady Serena, when outsiders come, it's better not to let rumors spread because Frederick Bloom shows up." It turned out everyone in the kingdom had signed confidentiality agreements. She responded with burning anger, "From now on, no matter who comes, Frederick Bloom must stay by my side." She then went to the glazed garden, planning a countryside trip with Frederick Bloom. Her husband Izar Lianz's remarks had tightened her nerves too much, so she wanted to relax with him. She saw Frederick Bloom outside the window talking to someone. As she moved closer, she realized that person was Izar Lianz. Izar Lianz, disregarding his noble status, had personally come to the glazed garden. Frederick Bloom was drinking coffee, enjoying the garden's tranquility. Seeing Izar Lianz, he greeted politely. The usually taciturn Izar got straight to the point today. "While I was on business, I heard some rumors about you. It seems you often attend major events with Serena." Frederick Bloom replied calmly, "Because Lady Serena needs me." Izar Lianz continued with a snide, sarcastic tone. "Right, that's the only thing you're useful for." Hearing those words, Frederick Bloom slammed the coffee cup in anger. Sensing hostility, he asked, "What exactly do you mean by that? Everyone and everything in this house exists for a reason. The ants on the ground, the flying cockroaches, the rats hiding in the dark. You are no exception." It sounded like a declaration of dominance. Frederick Bloom scoffed, "I stay in this house because Lady Serena wants me here. Besides her, no one else gets to order me around." Izar Lianz spoke with contempt. 2 years ago, I let you into this house because Serena had insomnia and was overly sensitive. I allowed you to soothe her to sleep. That's all. Frederick Bloom countered, "All of this started because of you. So you'd better fulfill your role." Izar Lianz recalled the doctor saying it could endanger her life. He warned firmly, "Do not overstep. If she dies because of this, it will trouble me greatly." He leaned closer to warn Serena, "You cannot get pregnant right now. Be careful. If my plans fail because of you, I will not forgive you." Serena, breathing heavily, walked out of the room. She was curious why Izar Lianz and Frederick Bloom were together. But no matter what happened, if he dared say anything harsh to Frederick Bloom, she absolutely wouldn't let it go. Frederick Bloom clenched his fists and warned Izar Lianz, "In this house, I'm the only one who can stabilize Serena's emotions. If you don't want your brilliant plan to fall apart, don't speak to me in that tone. You think I haven't looked into you? You think I'd let you walk into my wife's bedroom? You think winning Serena's heart will let you command the Serenity estate? Otherwise, I'll expose every one of your tightly hidden secrets. You're only useful to me." At that moment, Serena suddenly rushed out from behind them. She shouted angrily, "What are you doing? What did you say to Frederick Bloom?" She reached out to push Izar Lianz but misstepped and fell hard. Her husband, Izar Lianz, merely stood still, watching without a change in expression. Frederick Bloom, however, ran over in a panic to check on her. He glared at Izar Lianz furiously, then carried Serena back into the room. Frederick Bloom carefully tended to her wounds, while Serena complained about her husband's coldness. No matter how bad things are between us, he shouldn't just ignore me, right? Is it because he's from the Grain family, and I embarrassed myself right in front of him? How humiliating. She hugged her knees, blaming herself for being so weak, getting seriously hurt with just a small fall. He must think I'm completely useless. Frederick Bloom held Serena in his arms. hesitating before asking what kind of man Izar Lian's truly was. She snapped angrily, "Why would you ask me that?" Frederick Bloom quickly explained, "Because we're living under the same roof that I should at least know the basics." She recalled his warning earlier and shuddered that it was definitely not an empty threat. Serena said he was a dangerous man, the second son of the Grain family. He had severed ties with them, likely due to his brother's exclusion. And while the Grain family looked respectable on the surface, behind the scenes they were tied to illegal organizations, eliminating anyone who obstructed their business. His mother had even been exposed for murder. After that scandal, the Grain family started doing charity work as atonement, successfully whitening their reputation, and their family business flourished again. Their family is a nest of villains. Once someone loses value, they're thrown away like trash. That I really don't understand why Grandma forced me to marry him. At that moment, Izar Lians walked into Serena's room. In 4 years of marriage, it was his first time entering his wife's bedroom. And what he saw was his wife in an intimate posture with her boy toy. While she ignored the family business, Izar Lians's first words were, "I'm thinking, should I teach you?" Staring at his cold expression, Serena was completely confused. "What are you talking about?" Izar Lians glanced at Frederick Bloom. "Anyone unrelated may leave the room." With Serena backing him, Frederick Bloom refused outright. "You saw it yourself. Lady Serena is injured and needs bandaging." Although Serena hated her husband, she suspected this was about family matters, so she told Frederick Bloom to step out first. Frederick Bloom walked past Izar Lians, tension thick in the air. Her husband walked to Serena's bedside and suddenly grabbed her hand. Serena was startled, struggling. She even thought he wanted to break her arm. But he carefully treated her wound. Izar Lians snorted, "Don't move. You're the one who'll feel the pain." His expression remained icy. "I always thought giving you time was the right thing, so I left you alone." Serena pulled her arm back. "And then? You made your choice. Why not stick to it? Now you suddenly want a relationship. You think with your grandmother around you can control Serenity alone. Even I need to step in." Izar Lians leaned in slowly, asking, "Why do you hate me so much?" He continued, "Wasn't I the one who saved your family? If we hadn't married, my authority within the family would have been restricted. I'd be under constant threat. When we first married, you didn't trust me, so I let you take a management position. But you signed a contract without reading the terms, then got tricked at the auction afterward. Even though you caused all that trouble, I was the one cleaning up your mess. I never blamed you. Are you living like a puppet because you can't accept your own incompetence?" Serena clenched her teeth. "I hate you because you're from the Grain family. Your whole family is scum. Being the master of Serenity isn't enough for you. You want to get rid of me and take everything. You think I don't know?" Hearing this, Izar Lians stood up sharply. "I'll get rid of you. Is that what you think? So that's what you believed all along." He brushed back his hair. "Then there's no chance for our relationship to improve." He grabbed Serena's chin, dominating. "I need you alive, so you can understand just how useless you are." Serena slapped his hand away, staring at that arrogant expression, the look of someone who believed he was above her. "Tolerating you has its limits. Hating me in your heart means nothing. Beat me in reality if you want to win. Pick up your pride after that." Serena trembled on the bed as if he had hit her weak spot. She gripped the blanket, forcing out 2 words, "You jerk." She rose slowly. "I'll make you bow to me. I'll crush that arrogant face under my feet." Izar Lians turned back, clearly using a provocation tactic. It was a sunny, peaceful afternoon. Frederick Bloom reluctantly asked, "So you really plan to learn business from Izar Lians?" He worried that if Serena spent too much time with Izar Lians, her mood would sour. But once Serena showed she could stand on her own, she could rightfully chase him away. Because Serena's mother died early, she never had the chance to learn. Now Izar Lians was basically digging his own grave. Frederick Bloom gently stroked her hair. "But that means I'll be bored during the day." Serena giggled. "I'll spend more time with you at night." Under the bright sunlight, she felt that taking a small break today was the right choice. She noticed Frederick Bloom's hair had grown longer. Beautiful, actually. But what man likes being called beautiful? Doesn't that imply he's too feminine? He pinched Serena's cheek. "Call me beautiful again and I'll grow a beard." Serena shot up. "You dared to pinch my face." Frederick Bloom replied confidently, "Lady Serena, I've touched every part of your body. Was he upset because she called him pretty? Or was he throwing a fit because she'd have less time to accompany him? He suddenly lifted Serena into his arms, the two staring at each other intimately. Serena leaned in. If you grow a beard it'll poke me. Then we can't do that anymore. Tell me, who suffers more? He lowered his head shyly, asking Serena to kiss him. She refused, playfully punching him. No, I want you to kiss me. The two spent an intimate moment together in the sunny wilderness. At that moment, Izar Lians asked about Serena's whereabouts. When he learned she was leisurely having a picnic, he sneered. Clearly, she still hadn't taken things seriously. He ordered his assistant Raoul to bring Serena back. To be honest, Raoul was a truly brave worker. Interrupting them at such a critical moment and asking her to return to study. He covered his eyes. Not for kids to see. Miss Serena, I'm sorry. Lord Ed wants you to come back immediately. Serena was furious. This is my freedom. Why should I be ordered around like that? She was determined to oppose her husband. She leaned against Frederick Bloom lazily and whispered, I'm not your master. Then she gave a mocking smile. She stormed back and changed her clothes. Serena walked straight to her grandmother's throne, didn't spare her husband a glance, sat down arrogantly with her arms crossed. What do I need to read? Bring it here. Izar Lian slowly stood and walked toward her. Where is your place? Already annoyed, Serena snapped back, this seat belonged to my grandmother. Learning from you doesn't mean I'm your subordinate. Seeing how stubborn Serena was, Izar Lians lifted the entire chair, Serena included, and moved her to the secretary's seat. Troublesome princess. If you want to be the real master, you need qualifications first. You haven't done a single thing well. Do you think you deserve the seat your grandmother earned with her blood and sweat? Aren't you ashamed? Serena grew furious, clenching her fists. But I am Serena. I carry the family's blood. Even if I do nothing, I will always have the right. Izar Lians countered immediately. You think you can? I thought you respected your grandmother. But you're this shallow, enjoying the results without doing anything. Serena snapped in embarrassment. Shut up. What would someone like you know? Izar Lians said coldly, then prove it. If you truly love the Serenity family, you'll handle this year's memorial event. Complete all procedures and I'll let you sit in that seat. Serena was shocked. Me. Managing the hotel's memorial secret party? The memorial wasn't just for nobles. Commoners were invited too. Every year the biggest topic was who received the Serenity invitation. That's why her grandmother and mother worked desperately months before the event. Her grandmother always said, even if you're like a hidden shadow, you must shine like a light. Izar Lians gave a final warning. There's less than a month left. From today on, you need to start preparing seriously. Serena jumped up. How am I supposed to do this without any direction? Izar Lians took out several books. These are records from past years. Read them carefully, get a feel for it. Raoul and I spent a lot of effort organizing these. On normal days, this domineering husband always looked down on his wife. Yet one comment from an outsider was enough for him to shut down a billion-level project. At that moment, the CEO of Kursin Motors came to discuss a partnership. Right before closing the deal, CEO Kursin asked Izar to speak kindly about Serena in front of him, saying he didn't understand much about future automotive operations. Izar Lian's expression instantly darkened. Mr. Kursin, why would you say my wife doesn't understand management? Kursin, hand still halfway out, froze awkwardly. Izar continued aggressively, this hotel isn't run by just one person. Don't think she knows nothing just because she doesn't show up often. Every clause is decided by the two of us. Even Lazy was stunned. A moment ago he said Serena lived like a puppet. The next moment he was fiercely defending her. No outsider was allowed to look down on Serena. Kursin retracted his hand. I was simply interrupted by a colleague. Izar turned and walked away. I'll contact you later. Goodbye. In the car, Izar Lians was feeling very down. He suddenly opened up to Raoul. Serena never learned management. She married me as soon as she became an adult and I took all the authority from her. She always thought I would take over Serenity and then get rid of her. She's been struggling, trying to push me away, but she never really had a chance. Everyone knows only the strong hold power. If I weren't by her side, no one would bother giving her time to speak. They'll serve tea and greet Lady Liansa afterward. Serena's grandmother. People outside know we're a couple only on paper. In truth, I'm the one running things, which makes them assume Serena has no ability, and she gets ignored because of that. That was when she became discouraged. That was when she lived like a puppet. Frederick Bloom entered the estate during that time, when Serena was at her lowest. Raoul, we can't let anyone look down on Serena. Her reputation shapes the family's reputation. Right now she looks like a pampered canary, but with proper guidance she could become a fierce eagle. When he returned home, he immediately asked the maid Shufei, has Serena completed her task? After you left today, she stayed in the annex the whole time. Dinner was taken there as well. Izar smiled faintly, relieved. Looks like she finally got serious. Izar Lian's headed for the annex. It was where Serena had stayed as a child. Many traces of her childhood remained. Toys and items she loved were still there, showing just how cherished she had been. Izar Lian's walked into the bedroom. He expected her to be studying hard to surpass him, but she was actually asleep. But the attending doctor had mentioned Serena had sleep disorders, and would get drowsy whenever she focused too much. Looking at his sleeping wife, he gently moved her onto the bed. It was his first time seeing Serena so quiet, almost obedient. Yet when she was with him, she acted like a stubborn old lady over 100 years old. Izar turned and noticed the barely touched food and the half-finished books, and that she had even taken notes. After all, during her school days she always ranked first in every exam. She really wasn't bad. Suddenly the books slipped, waking the sleeping Serena. She blinked groggily, realizing she was in the annex, a place even Frederick Bloom had no right to enter. Her eyes snapped open. It was Izar Lian's. She immediately grabbed the gun from the drawer. She clearly remembered what Izar once said, that he would find a chance to get rid of her and make it look like an accident. Serena had understood everything even when she was young, so she always stayed wary of Izar Lian's. Her heart pounded. Why are you here? But instead, Izar scolded her. It's already past midnight and you're sleeping. Looks like you'll have to finish the entire book. He stepped forward and snatched the gun from her hand. Princess, you still have a lot to learn. He even instructed her. You need to cock the hammer and aim, otherwise it's not a threat. Pointing the gun at her head, he then shifted the aim to a vase nearby. Bang! Serena flinched and shut her eyes tightly. She stared in disbelief. Izar Lian's, you actually pointed a gun at me? But Izar mocked her. Shouldn't I be the one saying that? You're overestimating yourself. You haven't even mastered the basics. He pressed the barrel against her forehead. You think I'm joking with you? Izar Lian's was pointing a gun at his wealthy wife, just because she wasn't studying properly. He held the barrel against Serena's forehead, even suggesting a bet with their lives. Whoever wins gets to take the others. Serena protested angrily. Giving me so little time and expecting me to memorize everything. What do you want me to do, cast magic? Do you think you're some childish novel's domineering Xiao? Izar Lian's retorted, at the very least, you shouldn't be lying here snoring. Your attitude is terrible. Serena clenched both fists, speechless. It was indeed her who had gone and slept in bed. Of all times she was caught by Izar Lian's. She'd had enough. Izar Lian's looked at her resentful eyes, remembering the promise made 10 years ago to her brother. I'm sorry, Serenity, that I cannot treat your sister gently, so I cannot fulfill your request. Izar Lian's and Nimala's attended the same university. They were also good friends. The innocent Nimala's extended both hands and said, please take good care of my sister from now on. It is fate that we became friends. This is my final request. Izar Lian's did not firmly clasp those hands, for he knew that as people grow, relationships can change at any time. Nevertheless, since taking over the Serenity Hotel, he has not failed your request. But Izar Lian's could only activate Serena this way. Serena yelled in anger, saying she was about to hit him. Stop acting like you're belittling others while pretending to generously give chances. It's disgusting. Izar Lian's chuckled. You can actually say something like that. Then you'll have to wait. When you're completely worthless, I'll consider it. She was stunned. She never thought he would openly say such things. Izar Lian's asked coldly, you've never trusted me. You think I'll use you, betray you, get rid of you, and take everything from your family? Then you can make use of me too. Be ready for the moment you betray me. Isn't that fair? Do you dare gamble your life? We both move toward our goals. Whoever reaches the finish line first will point the gun at the other. I'll gladly die. As he spoke, he emptied all the bullets from the gun. If you fall behind me, then you're the one who dies. Understand? After saying that, he handed the gun to Serena. Just as Izar Lians was about to leave, she suddenly spoke up. Before we got married, what deal did you make with my grandmother? What benefits did you gain by taking over my family's estate? He remained silent and didn't answer her directly. He simply told Serena coldly to go to the hotel with him the day after tomorrow and be prepared. The spoiled heiress who only knew how to look at jewelry and buy clothes was finally starting to take work seriously, all thanks to her husband waking her up with a gun. Early this morning, she was supposed to go to the hotel with her husband, and she woke up in the arms of her lover. Frederick Bloom noticed her foot hadn't healed yet and insisted she must not wear high heels. Serena turned back and smiled softly. It's fine that I can handle it. Her smile surprised Frederick Bloom. Good mood this early. Even though there were gunshots at the annex last night? He leaned in and kissed Serena's shoulder, reminding her that she would soon be starting her shift at the hotel. She pretended to be impatient, but it was obvious she was actually excited. The two of them usually argued every 3 or 4 days. But today was unusually quiet. She secretly stole a glance at him. He said I should find the right moment to betray him. Fine, just wait, that I'll be the one to shoot first. Meanwhile, upstairs, Frederick Bloom silently watched them as if planning something. The frail grandmother, Liansa, heard that her proud granddaughter was finally willing to work, and she smiled gently. The couple entered through the main entrance of the hotel together. The hotel's general manager greeted them politely. Hello, Mr. Logan. No, General Manager Logan. He said there was no need to be so formal. In private she could just call him uncle, which he felt was more affectionate. After they entered the meeting room, the piles of documents stacked on the table all had to be reviewed by Serena first. Uncle Logan saw Serena's expression and thought he had given her too much to read at once. These don't need to be approved immediately. You can look through them slowly. But Izar Lians assumed she was happy, because it was the first time she had ever held official documents herself. Izar Lians knew very well that revitalizing serenity was his only mission, and he had no obligation to teach Serena. He only tossed her a bit of work whenever she was in a slump. And normally there wasn't even anyone willing to listen to her talk. With her prideful personality, how did she even endure all of that? At this moment, Serena was reading the documents, and many of the contents happened to be information her grandmother had previously given her. Some official terms were also things Izar Lians often mentioned when he made calls. A wicked smile curved on her lips, like encountering exam questions she just happened to be good at. Uncle Logan proposed that since VIP guests had increased lately, 2 more employees needed to be hired. She glanced at the discussion between Izar Lians and Uncle Logan. After such a long meeting, they rested only 15 minutes. He still had work to handle after going home, so she figured she needed to work harder too. But speaking of it, he looked flawless on the surface, yet who knew what schemes were in his mind? He said he wanted to get rid of me, yet he was also teaching me seriously. Truly confusing. After being looked down on by her husband for 4 years, she finally stood her ground once. At this moment, while flipping through the documents, she seemed to discover something interesting. Izar Lians noticed and slowly leaned closer. What is it? Is there something you don't understand? Uncle Logan quickly explained that it was the budget plan for the expansion project. Serena asked seriously. The budget increased. It went up by more than double. Izar Lians snatched the document. Let me see. He assumed she hadn't read any of the files he forwarded to her. But unexpectedly, this arrogant princess had actually reviewed them, and even remembered the numbers clearly. That was interesting. Serena listed the reasons. That ingredient could no longer be extracted. So after negotiations, the price was raised. Izar Lians asked about Plan B, but that option would push the budget far beyond the limit and also extend the construction period. Serena lifted both hands slightly. The family that owns this ingredient is the Teroya family, right? If I remember correctly, they still have a small mine. As for the price, I'll negotiate with them myself. From what she understood, even if it couldn't be mined, it shouldn't cost this ridiculously. More importantly, the Teroya family had always sold those stones at a low price, clearly testing Serenity's bottom line. Her mother used to take her to various balls, and Serena often overheard people's true thoughts. In those masked balls with names and faces hidden and alcohol flooding in, people tended to spill secret matters freely, and forgot everything the next day. After all, storing real stones required management fees and safekeeping fees, a considerable daily cost. They had been losing money without even realizing how badly. Later they discovered that some factories could mass-produce fake stones as substitutes. And all of these conversations had been heard clearly by Serena, hiding behind a wall. The person who said those words was Lady Teroya herself. Since we already know the truth behind the material, they can forget about taking advantage of us. Her considerate husband bought her a pair of shoes. But she tossed them to the floor without a hint of gratitude simply because she felt insulted. To her, Izar Lians didn't even need to speak to be packaged as the good guy, while she always ended up being the bad one. She had been extremely careful while walking, revealing no flaw at all. Yet Izar Lians always managed to see right through her. Serena merely wanted to stop being belittled by him, but she could never compare to how reassuring Frederick Bloom was. Letting out a low grunt, she turned around and headed straight back home. Seeing the flat shoes she had thrown aside, Izar Lians smiled faintly. It seemed she was very satisfied with the gift. Halfway back, Serena suddenly felt nervous and a headache surged up. She needed to find Doree immediately. Frederick Bloom jolted upright. No, from now on we have to make good use of our time. Once home, she immediately ordered the servants to clear out a room and turn it into an office. Now all Serena wanted was to focus on work. Since Izar suddenly changed his attitude and started teaching her, there must be a betrayal plan hidden behind it. In that case, she had to shoot him before he betrayed her. Looking at the gun in her hand, Serena murmured, "At this moment, you're the loser. People from the Grain family truly are sharp and cunning." She instructed the maid to bring water and blankets, and if she got sleepy she would splash cold water on her face. She couldn't afford to fall asleep in front of Izar Lians again. She now had to ensure the hotel's anniversary event would go smoothly, so she needed to thoroughly read every ledger. Hands on her hips, she walked around. "See, I'll finish this just like Grandma and Mother did." Midnight. Izar Lians returned home after finishing his work. Soon he heard Serena's rapid footsteps approaching. Tap, tap, tap. He proudly announced that she had finished reading all those thick damn record books. Izar Lians smiled with satisfaction. "So you didn't fall asleep. It took you a full 2 days." Serena immediately got irritated. Being able to finish that much in such a short time is already impressive. "You think anyone can do that?" Izar Lians gave her a casual glance. "Good work. You may leave." Serena hadn't expected that kind of reaction. She had run over so quickly that she forgot she was still wearing pajamas. Once she realized it, she turned around awkwardly and left. Izar Lians also knew that unless he personally summoned her, Serena would never appear in front of him wearing such comfortable home clothes. He had thought teaching her would be a troublesome and boring process, yet it turned out to be unexpectedly interesting. She was arrogant beyond reason but also incredibly persistent, and even liked to tease people a little. Truly amusing. The dark-skinned wolf dog in front of him understood Serena inside out. Watching her giggle foolishly, the alcohol had clearly gotten to her. Once drunk, she behaved like a child seeking affection. Do you even know how nauseating that expression looks? They were furious, saying they wouldn't receive Serenity's invitation letter this year. The moment Serena heard the name Serenity, she turned her head in her drunken haze. Serenity has already treated them well. When they were committee heads, they pocketed plenty of benefits. So ungrateful. So what if they don't get an invitation? She leaned closer and whispered, "It seems they have a new plan. The 8 families might be teaming up." So Izar Lians had returned from his business trip just to make me sign the document removing the rights of the 8 families. Although I didn't sign it, from the looks of it now, he's acting on his own anyway. She sprang to her feet. "That they're teaming up to stab us in the back." Staggering a little, she moved over, planning to eavesdrop on their conversation. If she could learn the 8 families' plan in advance, just like the Teroya incident, Izar Lians would definitely be shocked. I'm going to make those unmoving eyebrows of his finally lift in surprise. Holding up her wine glass, she walked over with a hidden smile. "Hello, everyone." The bystanders, stunned by her beauty, politely asked, "Miss, who might you be?" I just heard you all laughing so loudly that it sounded interesting. I'm the type who can't resist curiosity. A blonde man immediately shifted aside. Come sit over here. There was no way this man simply wanted to gossip with her. He reached out and flicked her earring. Judging from these, you must be wealthy, huh? Inside he was thrilled. What luck, a gorgeous woman practically coming to him on her own. He grabbed Serena's arm. Come on, let's go somewhere more private. Cold sweat formed on Serena's forehead. Dragging things out any longer wouldn't be fun. If you're curious, come with me. Let's find a quiet place, just you and me. Forget it. Take your hand off me. Frederick Bloom, who had been watching from nearby, finally couldn't hold back. He grabbed the blonde man by the collar and threw him hard onto the ground. The loud thud made everyone around look over. Serena quickly stopped Frederick Bloom. Let's go. If the police come, it'll be trouble. They walked to a secluded corner. She scolded him. Didn't I tell you not to interfere? I needed to know what he was going to say. That guy never intended to tell you anything. His intentions were obvious. How could I just watch you get dragged away? Besides, you were drunk. It was dangerous. Serena blurted out, that's because I trust you. You pay attention to what I do. I don't even need to speak and you understand. A wealthy heiress spends 800 billion to hire bodyguards, all to guard against her husband of 4 years. Because she believes he'll eventually try to eliminate her for the family fortune and stage it as an accident. She immediately ordered the maid to find someone who could stay with her 24 hours a day. And that person had to be extremely capable. Whether Izar Lians is targeting me or not, I'm certain now. He's planning something with someone. Frederick Bloom's mission is to protect Serena. She held Frederick Bloom's face with both hands. What you must do is make sure Izar Lians never harms me. Just like Izar pretends to be my husband, you'll pretend to be my lover. If I bring bodyguards, it'll expose my intentions. Don't worry about others. We'll openly act like lovers. But I value you and I trust you. You listen to me. We can't really fall in love, so keep your distance. Frederick Bloom clenched his fists in frustration. Yes, Lady Serena. I'll do as you wish. But you must allow me to come and go from the annex freely. That night, I heard gunshots during your conversation with Izar. I was worried. But Serena didn't agree. I have guns in the annex and guards. And he assigned me the hotel event. He won't act on me so soon. After saying that, she staggered away. Frederick Bloom watched her as she slept. Nina's fragile resistance. It excites my nerves and drives me insane. After settling Serena, he slipped into the study. He moved around busily as if looking for something. Izar Lians silently approached from behind. So late at night. What are you searching for? Like a starving little rat. You've been in this house for 2 years, and you're getting bolder. What's wrong? Getting desperate. The male pet who gets 100 million allowance every month and sleeps beside the heiress. Turns out to be an undercover agent. At that moment, Frederick Bloom, the kept lover, rushed into the study, frantically searching for that item that he had already searched the entire manor several times. Only the annex and Izar Lians's office remained. Izar Lians followed the sound behind him. Aren't you supposed to sleep with my wife every night? And now you dare act alone? Frederick Bloom shot him a cold glance. What else do you know about me? Izar crossed his arms. I'm only curious about the mastermind behind Udeus for you and Serena. I couldn't care less. Frederick Bloom froze for a moment. So he knew I wasn't Serena's lover, but a hired bodyguard. That must mean he has no intention of killing her. But Serena is already blinded by fear. Even if Izar Lians isn't acting now, he could still become a threat later. Izar Lians, sounding amused, said, do me a favor. Warn your mastermind. I hope you can use that puppet to find what you want. But do it before I figure out who you really are. Now get out. As the head of the house, I can't just overlook your little theft, can I? Remember, don't let Serena find out that we're basically a house master and a thief. Our puppet princess has a fragile heart after all. A few days later, the maid finished setting up Serena's new office. When she walked out of the annex, she saw Frederick Bloom staring into the distance, looking troubled. Frederick Bloom smiled as well and greeted her. You look beautiful today. Sophie's heart raced. This was the first time he had ever smiled at her. But, do you need something here? This path leads to the annex. Frederick Bloom replied with feigned concern, saying he was worried about the gunshot from a few days ago. With Lady Serena alone inside, he felt uneasy. Sophie grew puzzled that if it was only a quarrel between husband and wife, would it really cause a misfire? In any case, she won't be in danger when staying with Izar Lians, so you don't have to worry too much. So Sophie had no idea why Serena actually hired Frederick Bloom. He firmly stated, "I can't lower my guard. This concerns Lady Serena's safety. Sophie, I was hired by you personally." The wealthy heiress's most trusted dark-skinned companion, Frederick Bloom, intended to use the maid who admired him to ask for entry into Serena's forbidden area, because that was where the item he wanted was hidden. He used Serena's safety to soften Sophie's heart. To lower her suspicion, Frederick Bloom even invited her to go with him. The maid Sophie imagined being alone with him, clutched her fingers nervously, but in the end her reason prevailed. Frederick Bloom noticed Sophie's flushed face and thought his words had made things difficult for her. After saying goodbye, he turned and walked away, leaving Sophie standing there in quiet sorrow. Although Lady Serena and Frederick Bloom were in an employment relationship, there was no doubt they had already fallen for each other. And since Sophie was the one who brought them together, cutting in between them would only put her in an awkward position. Back then, Serena lived like a puppet every day, yet insisted on keeping a man with blood on his hands by her side, contradictory and dangerous. So Sophie used her connections to meet Frederick Bloom, and the intermediary assured her he wouldn't cause any trouble. Now Frederick Bloom had stayed by Serena's side for 4 years and had always been responsible for her safety. The next day, Sophie brought the hotel manual to Serena. Thinking there was only one copy, she was delighted, only to find it was an enormous, heavy book. Her excitement was wasted. A phone rang behind her. It was Uncle Logan. He said Lady Serena's guess was correct. The Teroya family's mine was nearly exhausted, and even the management was in chaos. I introduced the boss Izar Nose to the Teroya family. They knew each other. As thanks, they sent the ingredients to us for free. Serena was cautious as well, saying they would cover the shipping costs themselves, since those people had constant accidents before. A man and a woman alone in a room, the mistress and her dark-skinned paramour were about to ignite like dry firewood. Serena looked at Frederick Bloom with animated, flirtatious eyes, silently hinting that tonight would be a sleepless night. When his palm slid lightly along her thigh, an unexpected tickle rose up. He kissed her shoulder, slowly bringing his lips closer, the two sinking into passion and a floating, intoxicating feeling. Suddenly, a hurried knock came at the door. Serena stopped immediately, and the overly immersed Frederick Bloom had to restrain himself as he responded. "I've changed into my nightgown. What is it?" It turned out to be a call from the hotel. Calls late at night usually meant bad news. Runaways, theft, robberies, and so on. The most troublesome cases were guests taking their own lives inside the hotel, which could damage its reputation. She composed herself and headed to the Serenity Hotel. She learned that the deceased was actually a well-known poet, and a celebrity's involvement would make the rumors spread even faster. He had been staying for 28 days and had not stepped out of his room for a week, refusing cleaning service and saying he wanted to focus on writing poetry. Later, he stopped answering the room phone as well, so they entered his suite to check for safety. And that was when they saw the scene, his suicide note and belongings beside him. Uncle Logan sighed. This would bring significant losses to the hotel. Serena instructed them to contact the family, and to help the staff who discovered the scene with some counseling and give them a short break. The police stated that, for a self-inflicted case, there was no need for a lengthy investigation. Serena had already prepared the hotel manual. Similar incidents happened before, so she followed the procedures and tried to suppress nationwide reports. A few days later, Wall came to Izar Lians with a newspaper. The hotel's mood had been terrible these past days, and reservations kept being cancelled. If this continued, the financial losses would be significant. Izar Lians remained calm and handled it exactly the way Serena suggested, saying she needed to adapt to taking over, and all they had to do was manage their own work properly. News of a celebrity committing suicide in their hotel spread widely, turning into ghost rumors that damaged the hotel's image and business. The outlet spreading the news was the most influential newspaper in the kingdom, run by the McKen family, one of the 8 great families. The West Party likely held a grudge after the rights of the 8 great families were revoked, so they used such despicable methods. What used to be a cooperative relationship turning into hostility is truly a headache. Since Serena had been busy dating and buying jewelry, she hadn't come up with a perfect solution yet. The incident blew up because the person who hanged himself was a well-known figure. So they decided to use his fame, publicly displaying the celebrity's suicide note as the hotel's lodging fee. Inside it was a line saying, "Everything has already been proven in this beautiful hotel." Uncle Logan hung the note in the hotel lobby. Guests gathered around to read it. Reporters were invited afterward, including those from the McKen family. A few days later, although the uproar had settled, no one was booking the hotel suites. Serena began producing dolls at the factory owned by that lady. For socialites, staying in Serenity City is a status symbol they love to flaunt. She planned to give dolls as gifts to guests who stayed at the hotel. Unexpectedly, it worked. Daily visits increased and bookings even extended into next year just for the dolls. Izar Lians couldn't wait to share the princess's achievements with Grandma Liansa. Izar Lians planned to hand the hotel authority over to Serena, letting her bring many new changes to Serenity. A few days later, Serena personally tested all the hotel supplies to ensure they were qualified, even arranging champagne for guests and completely reorganizing the hotel. Grandma Liansa was full of hope for her. Serena was slowly transforming. When night fell, Izar Lians was dead drunk. Serena searched everywhere for him because she had business matters to discuss. Seeing Izar unconscious from drinking, with only hard liquor on the table and not even a snack, she frowned. Serena stood behind him looking down at his face. In 4 years of marriage, it was her first time seeing him this unrestrained. Her lightly fragrant hair brushed across his brow. Izar opened his eyes and vaguely saw a human silhouette. He grabbed her arm tightly. The two stared at each other with deep emotion and he suddenly blurted out 2 syllables. "Dia." 2 days earlier, Sophie had presented a letter. The cold-faced Izar Lians didn't even glance at it. He had said before not to accept letters from that person. Sophie explained that the writer claimed this was the last letter and insisted it must be delivered to him. The signature was only an initial, D. After placing the letter down, she looked back at it with lingering fear. For years, D had sent a letter every month, yet Izar Lians had never replied. Judging from the handwriting, the sender was likely a woman. Who could make him this indifferent? Each month, Izar Lians burned the letters without even reading them. The next morning, the couple was scheduled to have dinner at the chairman's home. Serena was puzzled. After drinking such strong liquor last night, he still showed no signs of being affected and went to work as usual. He even answered her questions patiently, though he seemed colder than before. Feeling sleepy while reading the documents, Serena accidentally leaned on Izar's shoulder. Izar Lians raised an eyebrow and quietly watched her. If Serena knew she had fallen asleep on Izar Lians's shoulder, wouldn't she throw a huge tantrum on the spot? He recalled what a friend once said, "Even if there's no love between you and Serena, you seem to understand her very well, and you enjoy secretly teasing her just to see how she reacts." A lust-driven CEO and a sickly little bunny in a marriage before love setup. 2 people who once saw each other as enemies, and now the CEO is slowly changing his view of her. Serena's stubborn, never-give-up personality caught CEO Izar Lians's interest. She looks like she can't do anything, yet somehow manages to do everything well. She loses control of her emotions and cries almost every day, yet hates her own weakness and grits her teeth to hold the tears back. At home, she's a mischievous child. Outside, she's a swift, decisive executive. Sometimes her eyes are like those of a predator, and sometimes she's as innocent as a child. She's always on high alert around her husband, yet right now she's sleeping against him with no defenses at all. She isn't a calm, quiet lake, but a vast, roaring ocean that can speak up for itself. Izar Lians himself can't quite sort out his feelings, telling himself he's just teasing her out of boredom, nothing more. While the 2 masters are away, the paramour boldly makes his move. Frederick Bloom is meeting with his handler to report in. So far there are no leads. They've searched everywhere except her private annex. The handler senses something off about Frederick Bloom. Where did the man go who used to follow orders without a word? Frederick Bloom turns to leave. He can't stay outside for too long. Behind him, the handler clenches his teeth and threatens. If you still can't bring back any intel, you know what will happen, don't you? Think carefully about who's been covering things up for you. Frederick Bloom was so furious he had nowhere to vent it, so he slammed his fist into the wall. He returned to Serena's bedroom and saw that it was empty. He recalled a few days ago when Serena lay on Frederick Bloom's lap and noticed his gloominess. Frederick Bloom dared to assert, "In this kingdom, no one has more self-control than I do. Every time I look at you but can't touch you, I have to use superhuman willpower just to stay sane." Serena sensed something. "Are you upset because of what I said at the bar that night, about keeping distance from you?" Frederick Bloom glanced sideways. She had guessed correctly. Serena spoke softly. "It means we can't become lovers, but I never said I didn't like you." After speaking, she immediately got up, reached out and held Frederick Bloom's hand. "That if we were only an employment relationship, I would never give you my body or my heart. You would just stand in a corner waiting for my orders. Without feelings, why would I do those things with you? Right now we can only be lovers who love but cannot have each other." In Frederick Bloom's eyes, this felt like pure emotional manipulation. Yet he still asked, "When you divorce Izar Lians, can I become your real partner?" Serena did not answer directly. She lifted her hand and touched his face. "With such a beautiful face, how could you let sadness appear on it?" Frederick Bloom pressed down his frustration. "I told you, I don't like being called beautiful. It makes me feel like you don't see me as a man." He leaned on Serena's shoulder. "I really feel like I've become your puppet." At this moment, Frederick Bloom had truly fallen in love with Serena, yet he still chose to carry out his mission. He slowly pushed open someone else's door, and somehow it didn't feel as heavy anymore. He had stepped onto the path of betraying Serena. Meanwhile, Serena and Izar Lians arrived at the chairman's residence. The place looked like a haunted house escape room. For a top-tier heiress on her first long trip, her husband had arranged for them to stay in a creepy little inn. The cold Izar Lians said bluntly, "Still this picky outside. No one here will cater to your demands and no one will serve you." Serena got out of the car complaining, "I'm not picky. I was just startled by how it looked." Izar Lians glanced back with a sneer. "What, expecting it to shine like the Serenity Hotel again? Keep dreaming." Serena held back her anger and muttered, "It's just worse than I imagined, that's all." As expected, just a bit of teasing and she bristled instantly. Serena chased after him. "What are you laughing at? You always treat me like a child. I don't want to share a room with you. We're sleeping separately." Izar Lians shot her a cold glare, then walked away, leaving only, "Be up early tomorrow." Serena entered the empty room. With Frederick Bloom not around, she could only sleep alone and do her own makeup the next morning. She remembered what Izar Lians told her before entering. He reassured her to get used to this environment early. There would be many business trips, and if she didn't adapt, she'd be the one exhausted. He added, "I picked 2 rooms with no noise and no footsteps around." He even knew she hated those sounds and had removed the ticking clock she despised the most. Serena couldn't help doubting, how could he know her so well? Getting ready for bed, she whispered to herself, "There shouldn't be any ghosts. Right? Just endure it, sleep through it, and it'll be tomorrow. Come on, stop being dramatic," because the soundproofing was terrible. Izar Lians heard every word she muttered. He let out a small laugh. This poor princess really had it tough. Before sleeping, Serena reviewed the chairman's background. She remembered meeting him a few times with her grandmother when she was young. He was just a small businessman then, and now he was a remarkable tycoon. This was the heiress's 199th attempt at makeup. Yet she still managed to apply a completely ineffective look. When she confidently turned around, her husband mocked her without mercy. "What's with that look?" Yet internally he couldn't help thinking Serena was kind of adorable sometimes. Serena reacted instantly, spun around and questioned him. "You were laughing, weren't you? What do you mean, that look?" "I woke up at 4:30 to do this makeup." Izar Lians said, "It wasn't about the buttons anymore. Your makeup looked scary." He sat on the bed and glanced sideways at the documents. It seemed this princess was actually quite serious and responsible. Behind the screen, Serena removed her makeup and thought, if Izar Lians helped fasten the back buttons, he'd see everything. Maybe she should wear yesterday's dress. But yesterday's dress also had back buttons. At home she had her assistant Sophie, and here Izar Lians kept urging her. 20 minutes had already passed. Do you want me to go outside and grab some random woman to help you? He added, or I can close my eyes and help you fasten it. But, will it even work if I can't see anything? Serena clenched her teeth. Was he teasing her on purpose? He clearly looked annoyed, yet why did he seem to be enjoying this just a little? Izar Lian saw she wasn't responding and switched to provocation. If you're not going, then I'll go by myself. Serena panicked, not knowing what to do. Izar Lian's walked toward the door. I'll tell the chairman you're unwell and can't attend the dinner. He was almost at the door and Serena still hadn't reacted. Izar Lian's paused, a hint of reluctance in his voice. If even I leave, who exactly are you planning to ask for help while dressed like that? Suddenly, a hand grabbed Izar Lian's clothes. Serena stood beside him with her head lowered, mumbling, "Help me." Izar Lian's gave a wicked smile. "Good, Serena," he added arrogantly, "then speak properly." With something to ask, Serena had no choice but to lower her usual arrogance. "Please help me fasten it." Izar Lian's only stared at her, giving no reply. She had to add shyly, "Please, you jinx." Completely satisfied, Izar Lian slowly told her to turn around. It was the first time this husband touched his wife. Normally she guarded against him like a fortress. Izar Lian's instructed her to face away. He gently brushed her hair aside, and the cold touch of his fingertips made Serena flinch. She nervously held her hair up. The room was so quiet that only the sound of fastening buttons remained. Every nerve in her body focused on her back. Suddenly she stumbled a little. Izar Lian's reacted and placed her hands against the wall. Serena panicked instantly. "What are you doing? Why are you suddenly pinning me against the wall?" Izar Lian said coldly, "Hold the wall. Stop wobbling. It's just a button. You're making it take 10 minutes. Serena urged him impatiently. He added lazily, "Stay still and I'll be faster." Serena's heart pounded wildly, and she didn't understand why she felt nervous at all. She could change clothes freely in front of the male companion and never felt awkward even if she disliked him. Was this the difference between someone you like and someone you don't? But showing just her back in front of Izar Lian's made her feel enormous pressure. His fingers brushing her skin almost drove her crazy. Once the buttons were finally done, she walked to the vanity. A bit of lipstick and she'd be ready. Izar Lian's kept urging her, clearly about to lose his patience again. Serena turned back, saying she felt uneasy attending an important event without lipstick. Izar blurted out, "You without lipstick already?" and stopped halfway. Serena shivered. "Already what?" Izar covered his forehead, correcting himself quickly. "I mean, it's fine even without it. And we're running out of time." Serena felt unbearably embarrassed and smeared the lipstick messily. Suddenly, Izar grabbed her hands. "Stop. That's exactly why it looks strange. Because you're smearing it everywhere." Serena stared at him, stunned, their eyes locked. Izar then took out a towel from his pocket and began gently wiping her lips. Her lips were so soft and moist that he could hardly believe he resisted the urge to kiss her. He touched his lips with both hands, rubbing them over and over. The room was filled with a warm, ambiguous tension. "It looks fine now. Go wait in the car." Serena was still lost in the moment, shyly touching her lips, replaying the scene again. Behind her, Izar Lian stared at the lipstick on his thumb, falling into thought. "Humph, what an adorable princess." The couple then arrived at the chairman's house in the rain. On the way, Izar didn't say a single word to her, which oddly made her feel more at ease. After getting out of the car, he finally spoke. "We may talk about things you don't know yet. Just listen. I'll explain anything unclear later." She realized and was about to ask why he didn't say so earlier, when a servant came to greet them, interrupting her. She stomped her foot in annoyance. He definitely did that on purpose. Inside, the chairman greeted them with a big smile, while the lady beside him wore a sour face, as if someone owed her 8 million. Her fake politeness made Serena instantly uncomfortable. The chairman's previous wife, the kind and gentle lady Serena met as a child, had passed away a few years ago. Seeing Serena dazed, the chairman took the initiative. "Serena, do you still remember me?" "I remember I always hid behind Liansa. I was young and didn't understand much, but I remember you were very kind to me." The lady announced that dinner was ready. "You've traveled far. You must be hungry. Please come and eat." After saying that, she walked away. Izar Lian's curiously asked, "You're not joining us for dinner?" Oh dear, I don't understand business at all. That I only deal with household matters. Dinner had already lasted an hour, mostly filled with small talk and daily chatter. But why was Izar treating it like an important meeting? Serena glanced at him. Judging from his expression, he clearly had something else on his mind, itching to say it. The chairman then encouraged the couple to run their business together, and when they had free time, go hold hands, drink coffee, watch shows, go shopping. Do more things together, right? You're both so young. Don't waste all your youth on work. Memories are something you have to create, you know? Hearing hold hands made Serena jolt upright. Wanting to end the topic quickly, she said, I know, we'll keep that in mind. The lady of the house was on the phone, reporting, yes, they're dining in the living room. And it's just about dessert time. Just say the head chef misheard that he knows about his severe allergy, that he wouldn't eat it anyway, and no one's forcing him. She was suddenly interrupted by the head chef beside her. Madam, they've finished dining. Should we serve now? She gave a sharp little smile. Of course, go ahead. Meanwhile, the chairman mentioned he was blocked by the 8 families when he tried to join the Serenity Foundation. Hearing foundation, Izar followed up and brought up the purpose of his visit. But the chairman rejected it. You want to talk business now? I don't like discussing work during meals. Let's talk later. Serena was puzzled. Didn't they finish the meal already? Was he avoiding something? Izar Lians hadn't expected it. He thought the chairman had changed his mind, but it turned out to be merely a response to his repeated requests to meet. The servants served dessert. The chairman had heard from his wife that Serena liked peaches, so he personally went to pick them. Serena looked confused. Wait, I like peaches? Was the information wrong? Then she suddenly realized. The chairman, despite his bad legs, picked them himself, yet she couldn't eat peaches. The chairman proudly said it was worth the effort for their adorable princess. Izar Lians noticed Serena's discomfort. He originally planned to gloss over it, but the chairman insisted on watching them take a bite. Serena swallowed nervously. It wasn't too serious, so she just eat one. She smiled and thanked him. I'll enjoy it. Izar saw how troubled she was. As the peach was about to reach her mouth, he hesitated for a moment. Then he purposely knocked over the glass beside him. Clang. The glass shattered and Serena froze mid-motion. The chairman worriedly asked if he was hurt. With arms and legs that long, knocking over a glass is normal. Izar reached to ring the bell to call a servant. Because the bell was far away, the chairman took a long moment trying to reach it. In that brief window, Izar raced against time and snatched the peach off Serena's plate with his bare hand. Serena stared at him, confused. Is he pretending that I already ate the peach? At that moment, the chairman finally managed to reach the bell. When he looked at Serena's plate again, it appeared as if a piece had already been eaten. He eagerly asked, so, how does it taste? Serena could only lie with a straight face. It's sweet and delicious. Worthy of something you picked yourself. The chairman proudly replied, as long as you like it, my effort wasn't wasted. Serena forced a smile. Thanks to Izar Lians, she finally got away with it. But how did he know she was allergic to peaches? Izar quietly checked the time. It was getting late. Since the chairman had no intention of discussing work, the foundation matter would have to wait. After dinner, the chairman took the couple to see his collection, but a maid interrupted. Chairman, there's a call for you. The chairman was about to decline. But when he heard it was Attorney Charles, he instantly changed attitude. A call this late must be urgent. He told them to continue the tour on their own. After the chairman left, Serena immediately asked Izar Lians, how did you know I can't eat peaches? Izar Lians immediately avoided the question. I don't know. Serena stepped forward, upset. You're lying. If you didn't know I'm allergic, how did you fake it so it looked like I ate the peach? Izar remained calm. I said I don't know. She grew more anxious. Then why did you switch the plates to make it look like I ate it? Izar answered with a proud tone. I guessed that I was angry. Why would you gamble with your health just to respect the chairman's sincerity? What if the hotel anniversary gets delayed? Serena felt disappointed that so. It wasn't for her, only because he was afraid the event would be affected. She argued, my mother and I are indeed allergic to peaches. But it's not that serious. One bite wouldn't kill me. I plan to eat it because I can eat it. Also, I don't want to show any weakness in front of people who dislike me. Izar frowned. Weakness. Am I the weakness? He tested. But when he saw the chairman's wife's expression, like she met Serena for the first time, he asked, you know her? Serena replied, no, but I remember her duck-like voice. At masked parties, there are always women hiding behind masks trash-talking me. Her voice is always mixed among them. After my mother's peach allergy became public, some ill-intentioned people even put peach juice in desserts. It caused a huge incident. My mother's airway swelled up and she fainted from suffocation. Since then, I understood one thing. Even the smallest weakness can threaten your life. Even if it hurts, I endure it. Even if I'm scared, I keep standing. Maybe you think it's too much, but this is how I prevent accidents and protect myself and the people around me. And it's obvious the chairman's wife was testing whether I was allergic. She suddenly remembered. Izar Lian's was also someone she had to stay guarded against. She might have said far too much. The chairman returned after his call, apologizing for coming back late. Izar said it was fine and that they planned to head back since it was late. The chairman quickly stopped them. Leave now, in this storm. That's dangerous. Serena's heart tightened. Were they staying the night again? The chairman cheerfully added that he had already told the servants to prepare a room. You came all this way. You can't just leave after dinner. And I still want to hear the part you didn't finish. Serena panicked so badly she couldn't speak. Which part? The chairman immediately backed away. We'll talk tomorrow at breakfast. You two enjoy the night. Bye. The couple entered their room. There was only one bed. Izar secretly felt pleased. A nice bonus outside the plan. Serena was shocked. This is ridiculous. You're busy, I'm busy. Why am I talking like this? Izar crossed his arms. The chairman and I still have important matters to discuss. Serena grew anxious. Then tell me what you want to talk about. You didn't say it before, so tell me now. Izar dodged the topic, saying he had something to handle, mentioning the broken cup as his excuse. Serena hurried after him. Izar told her to stay put in the room. When I'm done, I'll come back and help you undo your buttons. Serena froze. My dress. After Izar left, she finally came back to her senses. She looked around the room. The lonely bed felt like a guillotine waiting for her. Meanwhile, the chairman's wife was questioning the head chef. Isn't she allergic to peaches? The chef replied, yes, that's what the phone call said. The wife frowned. What? So it's not serious. That's boring. Izar Lian's called Sophie to double-check, and she confirmed she had already reported all of Serena's dietary restrictions to him. With anger on his face, Izar confronted the chairman's wife. Madam, I just used the house phone to confirm something. The wife replied with a fake smile, I put a lot of effort into tonight's dinner. You two are special guests after all. Izar Lian said coldly, dinner was indeed prepared with care. Please thank the head chef for his effort. Now, may I see him? There's something I need to confirm in person. The chairman's wife instantly looked flustered. Izar rubbed his chin and tilted his head. There are a few things he didn't follow. I want to ask him what happened. Seeing this, the wife panicked even more. She feared her scheme was about to be exposed but forced herself to say the chef was busy. She silently prayed the chairman wouldn't let the situation escalate. The head chef nervously asked, Is there something you're unhappy with? Izar Lian spoke slowly. The flavors were good. But something that shouldn't have appeared on the table appeared. The head chef quickly explained that he misunderstood the message on the phone. Izar snapped, a mistake. Do you realize your mistake could be caused serious trouble? I already called to double-check. The issue wasn't on our side. The chef shrank back, bowing deeply in apology. The chairman's wife instantly put on an act. Oh my heavens, how could such a basic mistake happen? Serena is allergic to peaches. Is she all right? Izar questioned coldly, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the coffee in the dessert. The chef knows I don't drink sweetened coffee. The chairman's wife exploded, exposing herself. Then why did you say something serious almost happened? Izar said expressionlessly, I get goosebumps when I eat sweet things. Isn't that serious enough? He continued coldly, when exactly did things start going wrong? The head chef bowed again, guilty and nervous. I'm sorry, it was entirely my negligence. Izar Lian's showed a vengeful, cold glare, enough to make anyone's scalp tingle. He pressed on, I never mentioned peach allergy. Nor did I bring up my wife. So why did Madam mention it first? Please explain. Meanwhile, back in the room, Izar couldn't find Serena anywhere and assumed she had already fallen asleep. But the empty bed proved otherwise. She wasn't sleeping. So where did she go? Her chiffon blouse from earlier was hanging on the side that he had planned to come back and help her unbutton it, but it seemed she managed to take it off herself. Princess really would rather die than let me help her change. Wait. Why is my suitcase open? From behind the curtain, a small silhouette appeared. She hadn't gone anywhere. She shrank back slightly. Izar spoke slowly. Why are you hiding there? And why is my suitcase open? Serena peeked out, whispering, I shouldn't have opened your suitcase without permission. I apologize. But please let me finish explaining. Seeing him walk toward her, she panicked and tried to shield herself with the curtain. He reminded her calmly, you're wearing my shirt right now. Serena watched Izar stride closer, her body trembling uncontrollably. Panic screamed in her mind. Oh my God, why is he walking straight toward me? Facing him up close, she stuttered, I'll listen first, I only did this because I had no choice. Too nervous, she accidentally stepped on the curtain and stumbled forward. Just as she was about to fall, Izar reacted instantly and caught her. This was the first time the husband had ever touched his wife. Normally, both of them were full of schemes, yet he actually asked his wife to undress as Serena was about to fall. Izar Lians reacted instantly, pulling her into his arms. Thud. Both of them collapsed onto the floor and he carefully placed a hand behind her head to protect it. The two exchanged a soft, lingering gaze. No wariness, no hostility, only emotion stretched thin between them. Izar's nose twitched slightly. Maybe because Serena had just showered, a faint, fresh scent lingered on her skin and in her still damp hair. Moonlight glowed on her naturally dewy lips. And her delicate, soft skin. What man could resist that? Izar Lians truly had the self-control of a ninja turtle. Looking at Serena this close, he couldn't help recalling how she used to act like a little tiger at home, always trying to find a chance to take him down. But right now she looked like a frightened little rabbit desperate to run away before he ate her. Izar spoke slowly, you're wearing my shirt. Which puts us in a rather difficult situation. As soon as Izar finished speaking, Serena panicked and tried to explain, listen to me first. Can you move aside? Izar Lians didn't budge that he was secretly delighted, and walking away was impossible that he simply replied, no, take it off. She suddenly remembered this morning, Izar pressing her against the hotel wall to fix her buttons. And just an hour ago he told her to wait obediently so he could help her undo her buttons when he returned. The more she thought about it, the more resistant she felt. Why could she undress so freely in front of Frederick Bloom? Yet even being touched by Izar caused her psychological pressure. Was this the difference between loving and not loving someone? She used to be extremely guarded toward him, but now, it didn't feel as unbearable as she imagined at that moment. Izar pressed Serena beneath him. Looking at this little wildcat beneath him, he tried hard to restrain himself, but still couldn't help demanding she take it off. Serena was stunned and hurried to defend herself. She never expected they'd end up sharing a room. The sleepwear she brought was far too revealing. Yet she felt completely at ease undressing in front of her male companion, Frederick Bloom, without any psychological burden. But sharing a room with Izar tonight? She shook her head, absolutely not, and borrowing clothes from the chairwoman's wife was impossible. The woman was short and plump and nothing would fit. Panicking, she turned her attention to Izar Lian's suitcase and hurriedly apologized. That was why she put on his shirt. Compared to those revealing camisoles, isn't wearing your shirt better for both of us? What Serena didn't know was that wearing his shirt only made Izar even more excited. He spoke slowly, do you understand what I meant when I told you to take it off? Do you really think I'd react like this over just a shirt? Serena simply thought he was being petty. She wore it for a moment and he still minded. Izar sighed, surprised that his princess was this naive. He placed his knee between Serena's legs. Then let's make a deal. You can keep the shirt, but you're having dinner with me outside this week. Serena stared at him, confused. What was he plotting again? Still pinning her down, he added, take as long as you want, I can wait. She originally planned to brush him off. But Izar caught on immediately. Trying to escape. Impossible, my princess, that if you haven't decided, I'll keep this position forever. Serena had no way to fight back. He purposely placed his knee in the middle, making her unable to move. And if she moved even a little, the shirt would ride up. The position was way too intimate. They kept staring at each other until Serena blushed and shut her eyes. Fine. I agree. Now can you get up? Izar Lians gave a satisfied smile and stood up. Serena hurriedly pulled the curtain in front of her body, her eyes soft and vulnerable. She looked sensual like late afternoon sunlight, lazy like the longing after parting, enough to make Izar lose control for a moment. She was an heiress who only showed bright smiles to the blackie by her side, while her own husband had to sleep on the floor. Serena opened her sleepy eyes. Because of what Izar said last night, she barely slept. She just wanted to go home and let Blackie comfort her, gently rub her aching head. When she got up to get ready, she saw Izar already washed and fully dressed, sitting nearby and casually sipping tea. Even though they had gone to bed so late, he still woke up earlier than her. In the early morning, through her half-awake vision, she saw him sleeping on the floor. She wondered if he felt uncomfortable and couldn't help feeling a little sorry. Izar Lians urged the chairman, telling him they should have breakfast together in half an hour. Serena panicked, not knowing where to start at tea home. All of this was handled by the maids. She rushed to the vanity, planning to tie her hair first. Izar stared straight at her. Serena's figure was delicate and perfectly shaped, and her jet black hair had a charm he couldn't quite describe. Izar's lips curved slightly. He thought to himself, Frederick Bloom probably wasn't interested only in that item, right? All these years. Wasn't he the only one who saw Serena's true appearance up close? But what he really wondered was, what part of Serena made you waver? Izar Lians slowly walked up behind her. Being this close startled Serena. What are you doing? A daughter born into a wealthy family couldn't escape a political marriage. She guarded herself against a stranger she had to call her husband, and he once thought she was nothing but a useless, spoiled doll. But after a few days together, his view of her had begun to change. She used to be a pampered girl who only knew how to get angry. Maybe this is the real you. Even though I've only been close to you for a short time, I'm already happy. Izar leaned closer to Serena without meaning to. She looked at him in confusion, unsure of what he was trying to do. His heart was pounding. If I had more time, what other interesting sides of Serena would I get to see? He reached out and plucked a small feather stuck in her hair, muttering, "Are you planning to become a little bird?" Serena gave him a speechless look. It's probably from the pillow. After getting ready, the two walked into the hall. Izar Lians asked, "Did the chairman's wife come to you?" No, Serena replied, confused. Izar's face instantly darkened. It turned out that last night he had ordered the chairman's wife to apologize to Serena in person. Because of the peach allergy incident, the wife felt humiliated. Being scolded by a kid had hurt her pride. Izar continued, annoyed for this childish prank. "I expect you to sincerely apologize to my wife." She exploded. "Prank? Even if I made a mistake, I'm still the chairman's wife. How dare you talk to me like that? Respect goes both ways. I treat people exactly the way they deserve." His eyes turned cold as he slowly stepped toward her. The wife shrank back. After all, he was from the Grain family. She didn't dare make things ugly. "I hope you understand. To handle this tiny issue, I wasted precious time. I didn't even get to unbutton Serena's chiffon blouse." Before leaving, he added, "The chairman is a respectable man. I hope you can match him. Even if you stick a luxury label on cheap clothes, cheap is still cheap." The wife stared wide-eyed, not daring to utter a single word. Only then did they finally sit down to eat. Izar Lians saw this and realized the wife probably never intended to apologize. The wife chewed her food slowly, convinced she would never bow to a kid. Anyway, he needed something from the chairman. What trouble could they possibly cause? She was betting that Serena wouldn't dare tell the chairman. She was giving up her own chance, and she would regret it. Meanwhile, an auction was taking place. Sophie used the name Isella. She bought Doralin's artwork for 500,000. It said that a few years ago she was still a rookie, new to auctions and tricked several times. This time she attended under her own name. How rich do I have to be to reach her level? During the signing, they learned the gallery had a new director. And the new director is very curious about you. Possible he'd like to meet. At that moment, a long-haired girl observed everything from a hidden corner. The head chef entered the dining room. Izar Lian's gaze carried a crushing pressure. Serena was shocked. Wasn't this the expression he used when he hated me? But now he's standing on my side. Yesterday, Izar Lians had already warned the madam. The apology ends there. but she still tried to slip away and let the chef bow instead. The chairman grew suspicious. He explained everything clearly. Even knowing Serena was allergic to peaches, the madam still insisted on serving it herself. Hearing this, the chairman asked coldly, "Is that true?" The madam panicked. The chairman exploded in anger. "They are honored guests I invited personally. How dare you?" Izar Lians watched silently. It was obvious the chairman trusted the chef more, meaning he never fully trusted the madam. She thought that being the chairman's wife meant he would side with her. She really overestimated herself. Too bad she never understood the real relationship between us and the chairman. The madam apologized to Serena in front of everyone. Knowing Serena's temper, if the chairman weren't here, she would have shoved all those peaches back into the madam's mouth. Serena sighed. "I don't want to, so I can't forgive easily. Apology doesn't mean I must accept it. I hope you reflect on yourself." The madam didn't dare lift her head. It was too humiliating, and if words spread, she would completely lose face. Izar Lians was about to leave with Serena when the chairman called out to him. He said he wished to talk properly. If they walked out like this, he would have no face to see Liansa again. And didn't Izar have business to discuss with him? Izar replied coldly, "Face. My wife traveled all this way and had her life put in danger. If you expect me to trade that for face, then where does mine go?" He added, "Wait for my message. I'll contact you later." He rejected the deal on the spot. People said he had waited long for this chance, but maybe this is better. Now he holds the advantage. Truly impressive. The chairman lowered his head and apologized, which made Serena feel guilty. After all, it wasn't the chairman's fault. Izar grabbed Serena's hand, holding it tightly as he strode away. It was their first time holding hands. Once outside, Serena yanked her hand away and snapped at Izar. "I was targeting the madam, but you made the chairman feel guilty. That makes me uncomfortable." To save the collapsing family, Liansa had forced her 17-year-old granddaughter to marry a man she had never met. Even though he was handsome, his family was the one Serena hated most. She had even thought of running away from home. Being married in name was already unacceptable. Yet they still wanted a wedding. She deeply resented her grandmother's arrangement. Grandma explained patiently, "Just follow the plan. There are too many rumors outside. And since the wedding is in July, backing out now will expose our Serenity family's scheme." Serena clenched her fists. "I don't want to stand beside that man in a ridiculous wedding dress like a fool. I'd rather run away. I said I can handle it. Why won't you believe me?" Grandma raised her voice. "It's not that I don't trust you. We simply don't have time." Serena replied in disappointment. "You're powerful enough to bring a man from the Grain family into our home. Can't you find a more obedient granddaughter to replace me?" After saying that, she turned around and walked away. Behind her, Grandma shouted, "You rude girl. How dare you talk like that?" At the door, Serena ran into Izar Lians. The two exchanged a glance. Grandma rubbed her aching forehead. "I'm sorry, Izar. The wedding might not happen." Izar answered calmly, "It's fine. I wasn't willing anyway." Even 4 years later, she still treated me like an emergency protocol, never realizing we were actually married. Even at events, she never once called me husband. Serena's eyes burned with anger. "What about you? You don't think we're truly married either, do you?" "It may only be in name," Izar replied, "but I've done my best to fulfill my duties as a husband." Because of the incident with the chairman's wife, Serena once again snapped at Izar. It was the wife's fault. "Why did you make the chairman feel awkward?" Izar said calmly, "We're a married couple. Whether we like it or not, whether we know it or not, we share responsibility for each other's mistakes. Even if I'm just like you." Izar leaned in slowly. "Even if you plan to betray me someday, before that happens, you're still responsible for me. After all, we're husband and wife.